Folks, we don't even know what cancer is. You see this body here? You see this person that's been talking to you for years? I don't have cancer. I'm doing everything that I possibly can to be confident, to be disciplined, and to make sure that my life is not affected by cancer. Okay, but do you know they can give you cancer? I mean, I'm going to be more and more of a target as the revolution comes on, as we're getting down to the finishing line here, really, you know, down to the wire. I will be a target, and I have to learn a way to safeguard myself and those around me. They can give you cancer. Look at Chavez in Venezuela. He even said publicly, you know, very severe doubts that he had. He has suspicions about where does this cancer come from. I mean, you know, he's a middle-aged guy. I don't know what his health habits were like. You know, he probably was decadent a little bit. Most of these politicians are. Eat a little bit of, you know, well-done steaks or what have you. I'm not sure. Maybe Chavez was a vegetarian, but I really don't think so. But nonetheless, I know that they can give you cancer. What is cancer? That's a good question. Hold on a second. Let me go on a tangent here, which might be connected. Remember in the Bible, they used to talk about leprosy? Today, in the modern science, modern medicine, says that leprosy has almost been canceled out. What they call leprosy, now hold on, that's a deception to throw you off. The thing that they call leprosy today is, I'm pretty sure, because of my skepticism, because of my digging into this research, that the leprosy of the time of the Bible, 1,000 or more years ago, because I'm also not so sure that I trust the calendar, this leprosy of the biblical times was something that never got wiped out. Perhaps it was cancer. Perhaps. Okay, so that's a tangent. Let's go back to looking at cancer today. We have cancer that is appearing in every kind of part of every kind of person's body. Person could be fat, could be skinny, their diet. Usually it doesn't happen to people on a raw diet. Usually doesn't happen to vegans. Usually doesn't happen to vegetarians. But it can. The majority of people that get it don't have any particular dietary regimen. They haven't really cared. You know, they just go out there, they're exposed to whatever food stuff the corporations are marketing. They're also pretty mainstream, the people that get cancer. Let me give you a personal story. You think I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? I used to have a wife. Actually, I've had a lot of relationships. But this particular wife, when I was in my 20s, going into my 30s, I actually have become an official adult, according to astrology, which I believe. I believe in that system of psychology. At that age, I had someone, and she and I got separated. She actually decided to do a lot of things that were different from the start of a relationship. She went back to her family because she needed their support. She was going to go to college, and she started on this, you know, new plan for life, and I was more into getting back to the land, going back to basics. I was doing some documentary filmmaking. I'd also gotten to the point where I was going to start some big movie productions, like indie film. This was just prior to YouTube. And we were keeping in touch because we have offspring together. Now, we were on amicable terms, so to speak. Of course, it could have been better. But so we kept in touch. Now, when I would see her, I would notice she was starting to act differently. And I noticed not only that she was going to college, not only she went back to her parents, which I consider to be a lot of backsliding, and she had kind of a victim mentality. She was always like a little bit negative, like a pessimist in life anyhow, and she was really getting much more solid in that type of attitude. And I also noticed she was starting to change her physical appearance in ways that she would never do while we were in a relationship. By the way, we're in a relationship for years. We have been pretty much been the main relationship for each other for 4 to 5 years. And then the breakup took place over that a year, and then we were into all these years where we were apart. But let's just say I would see her every month, and I would see this drastic change. And then she finally announced to me that she had cancer. Or they thought that she had cancer, and she needed to go and get tested, and she started to tell me about her fears. And at first I was like, wow, that's really heavy. And I told her, I said, you know, when we were together, I would have never expected it, and I couldn't even accept such a thing if she was around me, because there's just no way. And I started to ask her what she had changed in her life that might be the cause of all this. What had she changed since I really knew her and kept track of everything, because we were trying to be together on things, you know, our lifestyle and all this and that. So number one thing came out was that she went from being a total vegetarian to eating meat. She would eat meat every day, almost for every meal. She would go out to these like street vendors in the city and get like a barbecue, like a, what do they call them, gyros, like meat on a stick, or like shred meat or whatever. I used to smell this in the city, even in New York City, and it disgusted me. I was like, what, you know, I don't need to smell burning flesh when I'm trying to be cultural here. So I hightailed it out of the city. I don't want to deal with that stuff. But she would gravitate towards it. She did the opposite. She would flock to it. You know, like just scarf up that meat. And I said, this is a shock to your body. For as long as I had known her, I mean, and even before that, what she had reported to me, you're talking 6, 7 years or more, never eating meat, to suddenly eating meat every day, and poor quality meat, overcooked carcinogenic meat. So I was like, that's pretty suspicious. I think if you have cancer, it could be coming from that. So we started talking. There was other things, you know, just the other fact that she got breast implants, and that was a year or 2 before this happened. And she never told me she got breast implants. I guess she probably thought, you know, I might notice on my own, you know, physically with my eyes, and, you know, she wouldn't talk about it. It's one of those things, right? You know, you get separated, you divorce, and, you know, I'm not going to tell you about my breast implants now. So that also was suspicious to me. And we never really talked about it, but as I did more research, that also can become a shock to the body where cancer might develop. So on and on and on the list went, and I told her what she could do. Of course, here I am, the guy that's always giving out spiritual advice. Take it or leave it, you know, you've got free will. She wouldn't take my advice. I said, you need to quit everything that you're doing. You need to leave where you are. Even leave your parents. They're not going to help you. They certainly didn't know anything. Ignorant. I said, and go to someplace new. Live simple. Go back to a raw food, simple diet. Meditate a lot. I said, I am sure that this will save you. I am so sure. I'm 100% certain. I will even help you in whatever way I can. She wouldn't do it. She would barely even consider the concept of that. You know why? She got roped into the testing. She got roped into the doctors. She got roped into their expertise. We're going to tell you all about what it is you have. We're going to tell you all about cancer. And we're going to tell you what you can do with it. So she started chemotherapy. And I sat back and I thought to myself, here's my ex-wife, and what chance do we ever have to agree and get back together for the sake of our family and the love that we used to have? You know, by that point, I had not given up. You know, I always have hope until there's no possible hope left, you know, upon death. And indeed, you know, that's what happens. You know, to make a long story short, she died. And how it happened, she went through the chemo. Yeah, I can't even see such a thing. I was just watching yesterday, one of my subscriptions is a person that I've been watching for years, and she has physical activity, she's an athlete of some sort, and then she came down with cancer. And her latest video is about all the suffering that she's going through, and I guess she got, oh, hold on a second, children, if there's a problem, you need to come here. I'm going to have to cut this short, but just to say that cancer is not to be dealt with the way that we've been dealing with it. We have to address it like I'm saying. If she would have taken my advice, she would be alive today, and I could invite her to do a video. I mean, you'd be hearing a video about a success story, and not this. Chemotherapy and then the radiation that she did killed her. That's what killed her. I mean, do you hear me? Like, I'm giving you the answer. That's what kills people. I just did a tribute on YouTube channel for Phaedrus. Where is Phaedrus? She got treated several years right before she started on YouTube. Now she's disappeared for almost 4 years. You know, I'm in hope, but you know what? There's not really much tangible, reasonable reason to have hope. So folks, we got to find out what cancer is, but even more so, we've got to learn what to do if we even suspect it, or if we come down with a condition and we're not feeling right. We need to take drastic measures, make changes. In fact, the entire society, to prevent cancer from getting into every one of your bodies and your loved ones, you need to quit everything you're doing. Leave, get out of the cities. They say the Mayans might have done this. Get out. Go back. Protect your area. Keep it natural. Keep it simple. And meditate. Can we do that? Or are we all going to be like my ex-wife? You know, I still loved her, but how can I love someone who doesn't listen and doesn't take my advice? Well, I'm supposed to love them and love a dead body? Here's a dead body that didn't listen, but I love them. You know, where is the logic or the success in that? All that is the epic failure. You know who wins? The devil? The oppressor of humanity that goes against all truth? The doctors? Medical doctors? They win. You know what? Because they get richer. Yeah, they get richer. Thanks for listening, folks. I'm just a little bit cynical and bitter right now, but I wish you the best, and if you take my advice, then there's hope for you. Make your comments. Share this with all your friends. What's the other thing? Favorite it and thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed.